All right, welcome everyone. First order of business, please rise for the salute to the flag. Pledge of
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to
to
the
the
flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone. Next order of business, opening comments. Commissioner Evans, we have some nice opening comments for the folks.
I think they're nice. We'll give them a go.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone. Glad you could join us this evening. Our meetings are a place to hear and be heard where we can all be a part of the solution. Just a reminder, your questions or statements regarding agenda items only will be entertained under citizens to be heard. All other matters will be recognized at the end of the meeting during public comment. How did it get to be May? Like, wow, it's nuts. I don't know how this happened, but there's lots of good stuff on tap for tonight, so buckle up. While this board has not taken or discussed any position on the matter, the Chester County Department of Drug and Alcohol Services is ready to submit their position paper on the probable statewide legalization of cannabis sales. Reading it made clear there's a lot for us to take in and consider on all sides of this highly controversial subject. Should legalized cannabis sale become PA law, we as a township need to be sure we have the right regulations in place to minimize any potential impacts on our community and ensure the safety of our children. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire, and today there was smoke over town. What did that mean? There was fire. What appeared initially to be a woods fire in the area of Bondsville and Kings Highway turned out to be compost fire. Chief Taylor recognized the composting pile was unstable and in proximity to a steep drop off. Chief Taylor and Ray Stackhouse's quick, decisive actions turned a potentially serious situation into something more manageable. Thank you. I know I always say I'll keep this brief, but tonight I mean it. We've got a packed agenda, starting off with Heather Reifer giving us the inside word on Chester County America 250 and how we can get busy to make the next 2 years full of celebrations that will rock the county and the world. Speaking of America 250, the America 250 kickoff picnic at Spackman Davis Farm is Saturday, June 29th. Woohoo! Friends of Spackman Davis Farm nonprofit have been working on making this a very special day for Cowan Township and the farm. Stay tuned. Our committees and commissions are all revved up and doing great things. Why don't you consider joining one to be a part of the action? You'd be amazed how much gets done with the right people involved. Remember, when we all work together, there's nothing we can't do. Spread kindness, everyone. Anger, grudges, and resentments are not worth our time or energy. Compassion, empathy, peace, and love, these are what make the world go round.
Thank you, Commissioner Evans. All right, next on the agenda is citizens to be heard. Do we have any here in the township building? I do not see any hands raised. Any in Zoom? All right, none at this time. We can move on to our presentation for America 250 from Chester County.
It's Heather Reifer from Chester County America 250, and you're coordinating with the Chester County Planning Commission on this, correct? Or whatever it is, just go right ahead and say it.
Welcome, Heather.
I'll try that again. My name is Heather Reifer. I am the Senior Program Associate for the Chester County 250, which is administered by the Chester County Planning Commission in partnership with the Chester County Community Foundation. So I work closely in the Community Foundation for the Planning Commission. Mark, would you like me to just jump in here?
Oh yeah, go right for it. Yeah.
Can everybody hear me okay in here? 250 is coming. Huzzah, right?
All right.
What else can you say? So Chester County 250 has been putting together a number of initiatives. It's run by a commission. There's 29 members, or up to 29 members on the commission from throughout the county, representing all different kinds of businesses, nonprofit organizations, historic sites, and so forth. And were administered, like I said before, by the Planning Commission, and the Chester County Community Foundation is spearheading the management of this and coordinating things like the video you just saw and some of the different programs and outreach that we are doing now. Our main focus here is on co-promotion. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to come up with brand new events that people can kind of plug into. What we want to do is elevate and amplify programs and events that you're already doing or thinking about doing for 250 and get them out there to the community. So we're governed by some certain things that we've put together in terms of mission. I lost my arrow. There we go. So our mission is to inspire and engage our communities in commemoration of America's founding, connecting Chester County's stories to the nation's past, present, and future. We are focusing on a number of themes that have been chosen by the county, both through our heritage tourism planning process and what the Chester County 250 Commission has identified. There's 4 main themes: the Philadelphia campaign, iron, steel, and industry, Pathway to Freedom, which includes the story of freedom seekers who came through this county, as well as the Underground Railroad, and natural landscapes and agriculture, so the agricultural story of this county. We also, as mandated by America 250, which is, you can, for lack of a better way of putting it, the federal level of looking at this, we aim to promote interactive, inclusive, compelling experiences that focus on encountering the many ways that Chester County participated, but also elevate our understanding of our continuing journey to build a more perfect union. So these are the various themes that you see up on the screen that we're doing here. And I want to point out, I brought flyers and information here that you can take back to your groups, to your committees and commissions, to use as planning tools. So again, here is our map of the various theme regions. You can kind of see there's clusters here. It's kind of hard to see up on the screen, but again, it's iron and steel, Pathway to Freedom, Philadelphia campaign, and the Battle of Brandywine, and agriculture. And here are some of the ways that Chester County embodies our pursuit of these ideals. William Penn's colony of religious freedom and tolerance, our agricultural bounty, Chester County as a site of a decisive military action, and a deeply rooted commitment here in this county over the centuries for equality for all and strong support with strong anti-slavery and women's movements over time. So here we are. I was delighted to hear this week that Township has already signed the resolution in support of Pennsylvania 250 and Chester County 250. We have a Dare to Declare page on the website that not only municipalities can sign up, but any individual, nonprofit, business, individuals, you as a citizen of Chester County or Township can sign up as a member of and support of Chester County 250. Doesn't cost a thing. It just shows your support or your business's support of this initiative. Now on this page here, I don't think I can get to the website. I can try. It doesn't want to come up. So I'm going to not try to do that. but this page here, we have a website, America250 chestercounty.org, that has a number of resources on it. And see if it will drill down. So we have an events calendar that any township, any organization can plug in their information. It's already up and running. You can show off, show your different festivals, park events, events at a local historic site, you name it. And I'll tell you how to do that. So in terms of planning, what we're trying to again emphasize is think about what you want to do in your community. Where are the partnership potentials? Where this is, by the people, for the people. So bring together your groups, your businesses, your organizations to work together to put together an event if you want to do it. If you can decide what you want to do, and then we'll help promote it. Think about the different things that you want to focus on. So what does your heritage and your freedom mean to you? How do you want to show and share it throughout 2026? And one thing I want to mention, we're promoting things now, and we're going to be promoting things through 2026, but I believe Battle of Brandywine happened in 1777. So Chester County 250 goes through 2027 as well. So here are some various tips to get started. Some of the townships I learned at the Chester County Historic Preservation Network meeting are starting to set up individual task forces focused on Chester County 250 or on planning any kinds of 250 events. We have some examples here up on the screen, anything from tours, concerts, lecture series. Plug in what you've got. We don't have to come up with anything new necessarily. Just add a layer that says, yes, we're celebrating and commemorating 250 this year. So, but I mentioned the task force. I was telling Mark before this started, sometimes it's difficult to start yet another committee. You might have a committee or an independent nonprofit group that you think would do a great job in kind of coordinating this and bringing all everybody together to do this. Use whatever works for you. So, and the things we like to urge is look at the things that are unique to your community, engage a variety of people, bring together partnerships, tap into your schools, as I said before, in your nonprofits and historic sites, and then start thinking about the timeline. If we're in 2024, we're 2 years away. It's pretty amazing to think about how quickly this happened. The Commission for Chester County 250 was formed in late 2021. It seems like yesterday to me that I first heard about it, and here we are. And of course, let us know so we can promote it. So here are the different things that you can do. You can, once again, declare yourself, as a supporter in as an individual business or any other kind of entity. You can invite us to your events. We're happy to come. If you know of a group that's thinking about doing something for 250, wants to know a little bit more about it, how to go about it, wants to know where we can help you, we're happy to come out and talk to you like I'm here tonight. We have a social media account. There's an Instagram and Facebook account. Things like that video you saw earlier are going to be showing up. We also lift up and amplify, once again, any events that are going on in the area. I think I saw today on it that we were advertising an event that's coming up at Frick's Lock. So it's different things, any heritage site throughout the county. If you have something, we'll definitely share it. We have partner events as well, so you can get involved with what other folks are doing. We also have a Zoom in series once a month. I believe it's every fourth Friday at noon. We have a Zoom in session. We've had Rose Fennell from Valley Forge National Park come and talk to us about what Valley Forge is doing for 250. We've had a couple sessions with Donna Harris, who's a historic preservation consultant, working on elements of visitor readiness and volunteer management. So basically, all of these sessions are to generate ideas of how you can get ready for 250. We have different topics. We have new topics coming up down the line, how to plan special events, fundraising, you name it. We're going to have a different focus each month. We also, let me go on. And so here's our advertisement for that. Our next one's actually coming up next Friday. We're just having a general one, talking about the planning tips and to share ideas. Because we're getting ready right now. We are having a summit at Thornberry Farm. Randall Spackman's opening his doors for Chester County to have about 150 people come together to plan for 250. Some of our elected officials will be there to talk about where they're coming from on it, what they'd love to see. And it's a morning of idea sharing. So mark your calendar. You can sign up. There's a link on our website. The link's on here and on these pages as well. We are asking people to register because last time we checked, I think we had somewhere between 70 and 90 signed up, and we can only accommodate 150. So we want to make sure everybody can come. We have a few weeks out yet. So we'd love to have you there. It's in the morning, and we'll feed you that day too. So yeah. So that's essentially it. I mean, in the end, 250 is coming. We're trying to make this as inclusive and interactive as possible, have all communities involved in any way they want to be involved, and to connect you to what other folks are doing as well. That's our role at Chester County 250 on our staff. If we hear something and go, well, I bet Mark would love to hear that over at Calhoun Township, we will pass that information along, and so on and so forth, and use us as a resource. We're here for you. Please tap into the website as well. There's a ton of information. Those Zoom-in sessions I mentioned, we have all of the older recordings from January, February, and March. So if you missed Rose Fennell talking about Valley Forge, you can go back and listen to it. It's all there for you. So that's essentially what I have. I'm here also to answer questions.
Commissioners, any questions on this?
No
Pretty
question.
exciting.
I
I just want to ask, will you be making this presentation throughout all municipalities? Or how will
Yeah,
it-
if we're invited, yes. Well, anybody who wants this, we're happy to come out to you. And if you know of any that would be interested, please pass them along. We are reaching out to them as well, to everyone as well.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I serve on the Downingtown
Awesome.
Library Board, and I'm sure we could partner with you to do something,
oh, great,
with the library. So
great.
I'll pass that along to our director.
I know there was just a meeting with Chester County Libraries, and I don't know who all was at that table. It was somebody
Okay.
else on our team. So, but I will pass that along to make sure things are people are connected.
Yes.
I did have one question. What kind of events can we hold? And the reason why I ask this is I just remember, I'm dating myself, but
Not
for
as old as me.
1976, it was a big event, and my mother actually made the outfits from 1776 for the entire family. And it was a big, huge school event that we all attended.
I graduated in 76. It was bicentennial year.
I was still in school. Okay.
I was in school.
But what other kind of events can townships hold? Does it necessarily need to be at historical sites or?
No, not
Okay.
at all. That's the beauty of it. This with 250, it can be any organization. It could be the schools. I remember, I'm from upstate New York. I remember when Albany had a big 300th celebration and they did something in Albany for City Fest. And then they trickled down to all the rural communities and we had City Fests at all our individual schools. And they were, you know, the idea was put out there and the different schools took it up. Yeah. And so it could be anything. You talk about the bicentennial. I
Mhm.
was this high, but my mom was also one of those who made all the costumes and yeah, I'm sure I walked in a parade, toddled in a parade. But they did a quilt, you know, if there's a quilt makers group who's interested in doing a quilt to commemorate your community for 250. That was something my parents' historical society did for their community. There's a bicentennial quilt. It was all the different landmarks in their township in New York State. So, yeah, it can be anything. So that's why that's partly why we're urging folks to come up with a task force, just to bounce ideas off and
Different
see
ideas.
what
I love it.
see what works. So, and what gets exciting for folks.
Are you working with school districts at all?
We are in the process of that. We're still trying to figure out exactly the best strategy. So,
Okay. Because I know for some of our events, if we partner with the school district, the kids come and they bring all their parents and
Exactly.
you know, that
Exactly.
is a big draw for us
Yeah.
for community events.
The ideas are limitless. They really are.
Mhm.
And I think the timing for Cowan Township is off the charts that this is happening now. And just when Heather was going down the list of the core things to keep in mind of the power of place, the Philly campaign, every one of those pieces can be told at Spackman Davis Farm. It has a piece in every one of those, from Isaac Spackman fleeing the Battle of the Clouds. He was being attacked there and coming here to a farm that was built next to a meeting house and the base of the Quaker principles there, and then helping get Richard Gibbs free from slavery, and you know, women. You all were at that tour. It's just women. A prenup in the 18th century by the owner of that land. So I mean, it's exciting. Small things, big things, but I can't thank you enough for sharing your time with us.
absolutely.
Very much.
All right, I'll reach out to the residents here. Anyone in the township have a comment? Excitement? They're all excited here.
Yeah.
These guys are jumping up and down in this township.
Everybody's mind is rolling now. You know.
If you were here in person, you would be telling everyone to be quiet in here. So,
With all the excitement here, anybody in Zoom? Well, yeah, I will say, and I know you already said it, and Mark has said it many a times, time's gonna fly by quick. 2026 will be here in no time, so
No time
we
flat.
need
Yeah,
to get ahead of it.
that's
Looking
exactly
forward to
right.
it, though.
Very good. I hope to see some of you at the summit in a few weeks. Or next
Yeah,
month.
Thornberry, isn't it like off
Thornberry
of, like back in Westchester off of Paley Pike?
Off of
Uh,
202.
it's more off of like
202.
Birmingham Road and
Off of
Low two.
926.
926,
Yeah,
okay.
in the back-
okay.
back
Mixed
side.
number mixed up. But yeah, that's where it's going to be.
It's a horse farm, right?
It's mostly a CSA. I don't know if he
Yeah.
has horses or
I don't
not.
think so.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so,
Maybe I'm thinking of something different.
this
I'll
is
have
like
to
tucked
ask him.
back behind Birmingham Meeting and that kind of area.
that's
It's-
exactly right.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
battlefield.
In fact, they now have a trail between Thornberry up to Birmingham Hill, I believe,
Gotta love
they've
that.
been
Yeah.
carving out. Yeah.
it's beautiful.
A lot of
And
history here,
it's a Spackman. It's Randall Spackman.
and we got to see him.
That's right.
All right,
And
And we
Chester
have-
County is a great place. It's
Beautiful.
got
Yeah.
some of the most amazing resources right here in our own communities. So it's great to see everyone, amplify that message and let everybody who lives here and enjoys this place and invite visitors in to enjoy that heritage. Thank you for having me.
Heather, thank you so
Heather,
much.
Really.
You do.
And Abby, you need to put your thinking cap on for all the kids. Hey, if I had to wear that outfit in 1976, I think every child in County Township.
Oh,
Perfect.
goodness. Oh, wow.
Thanks, Heather.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, we, engineer. We have the road program. Do we have Ross?
Good evening, commissioners.
Good evening, Ross.
I'm
Welcome.
sorry, I don't have any SNL skits to start out my piece, so I apologize for that.
Wow.
Let's share my screen here. So this topic is for the 2024 road program. So you'll probably remember that last year we did a road condition assessment for all the roads in the township. So this is a map of that report where it's color coded based on the condition of the road, where green is the best and red is the worst. And so we worked with Mr. Huggins, the Public Works Director, and we came up with, for this year's road program, Ridgeview Drive, Longview Drive, and Morgan Drive as roads to include. And now I'll flip to some drawings that we have that we put together for this package. So this is the general PennDOT Township map. And so if I zoom in, we specifically targeted the whole length of Ridgeview Drive. But for Longview Drive here, we found that the stretch between Barley Sheaf and North Longview was actually in pretty good shape. So we focused just on the eastern stretch of Longview Drive, which was in much worse condition. And that allowed us to do all of Morgan Drive. That's like based on our cost estimates. And we've also included as an add alternate Suzanne Drive, which is a very short cul-de-sac coming off of Morgan Drive. And so the purpose for that would be, if the bid prices come in favorably and they're a little lower than our estimates have here, then we might be able to just go ahead and immediately build Suzanne Drive into the project. So those are the roads that we had in mind for this year's contract, and the estimated costs are put together here under the base bid has Ridgeview, Longview, and Morgan Drives. And then, as we were just discussing, the add alternate number one is for Suzanne Drive. And those, the costs are adding up to just within what is available from the liquids fuels funding from PennDOT. So the idea is that this work would all be funded by the annual amount available from PennDOT through that liquid fuels fund. And then in the same package, we have a cost estimate for each of those roadways. Like here's an example. And then there's a location map to show the road and that it's getting repaved. And so there's a cost estimate and a location map for each of those roads. So this flips through.
What was the alternate road?
So the alternate road is Suzanne Drive. So if I zoom in on this map of Morgan Drive, you can see here that Morgan Drive is this long road here with cul-de-sac on each end. And then off of Morgan Drive is a short cul-de-sac road, which is Suzanne Drive. So that's the add alternate there if the funds are available.
I don't see that add alternate in our packet.
Yeah, we didn't have that page.
Okay.
Page.
Okay, I see. Yeah, there was a revised file that added the add alternate. So I wonder if that did not make its way to you.
Not in time. Nope.
No.
Okay.
What is that add alternate?
What, 57?
Can't see that far.
Yeah, so that's it says 57,451.
Okay.
And what's our budget we're working with?
So the liquid fuels for the paving work, we would have right around 365,000. So what we were estimating for these roads was coming in just under that, but it's possible the bids could be more favorable than those numbers, in which case there may be enough to do Suzanne Drive.
I guess we'll see what the bids come in at, but we could use fund balance to pave the ad alternate, couldn't we?
Mhm. Yeah, if the township wanted to use money out of the general fund, that we could definitely do that too. And maybe if we just need a little bit to get to that extra step and be able to complete that whole neighborhood, that could be beneficial.
It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense to not finish a small cul-de-sac in the same neighborhood. So, but I guess we'll see what the bids come in at.
I think last year we came in under, didn't we?
Mhm.
We were able to add, I'm not making any sense, but Ray's saying yes, that's all I need.
We added municipal park, the parking lot. We did have to use some fund balance funds, but not a lot.
Yeah, so this could be a very similar scenario depending on how the bids fall.
Okay, commissioners, any other questions on this?
So are we putting this out to bid, or what are we doing at this point with this?
So so if you're okay with all of these roads to include, what we would do is go finalize all of the documents, and then at the next meeting, get the official go ahead to bid them, and then we would put it up on Penn Bid to be bid out, like say the Monday following next meeting.
Commissioners, any other questions? Here in the township building, any residents have questions? None at this time. In Zoom, I think I did see a hand raised. See if it comes back up. Yeah, I think I saw Mark's name. Sure. Mark, you there?
I actually thought it'd be better served later, but just a quick question. Any update on when the water company is going to repave Lloyd Avenue?
Oh, Aqua? Quick question.
Yeah, they're not complete, the project's not
It's
completed yet, so.
Any update?
No, Mark, we did have several meetings with Aqua, working with them regarding the full paving of that roadway. They have some components to finish up the final phase of that project, and then they will move forward with a paving schedule in the near future. Do not have a timeline specific yet until they actually complete the project, but we're hopeful that that will be done shortly.
Okay, just a little rough road right now, that's all.
Yeah, my shock absorbers are really hoping that it's soon.
So are my tires, Mark.
All right, thanks, Mark. No other questions? You need a consensus from us to move forward with this, or? I think we're all in favor.
Unless there are any concerns by any of the board members regarding that, we can move it forward and have it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, any concerns?
No.
Okay, we're good.
Excellent.
Good stuff.
Thank you, Ross.
Great. Thank you very much.
That's all you had on the agenda. You want to stick around?
That's it for me. I think I'll be heading out. But
I missed you at CTMA.
yeah,
Ross, we're going for midnight tonight.
we'll see how long we can stretch it out.
Oh, there you go.
Very good.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You too. Take care, Ross. All right, next on the agenda, board minutes to approve. I will ask commissioners here, any comments, questions, changes? Of course, I will need to abstain. I missed this meeting. And it was an exciting meeting. I did watch it on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
It was quick and efficient.
Yes. Not like my long, drawn out.
There were no SNL videos either, so.
All right, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion's good, 4 and 1 abstain. That would be me. Next on the agenda, ordinance. 2024-03, the DARA local limits that was discussed at last meeting.
We're okay.
Don,
No.
you want to chime in?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Yes, as President Mullen mentioned, this was discussed at a prior meeting. This is the local municipality's enforcement authority regarding certain types of metals, chemicals in the water for discharge, and the EPA had revised their local limit criteria, and this would updating the ordinance to follow the EPA standards would allow enforcement to take place. This would be for industrial and commercial users primarily.
Commissioners, any questions on that? Questions?
No.
Residents here in the township building? Anybody? Do not see any hands raised. Any in Zoom? Alright. We'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2024-03.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Tindaro, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Can I actually vote on this since I
No.
did not attend, but I am aware of it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to confirm.
5-0.
Motion passes 5-0. All right, next, Township Manager. All yours.
Thank you very much. I have a couple of items for board consideration and discussion this evening. The first matter is regarding the honorary street signs. This was brought up at a prior meeting about some modifications to the signs. As you may recall, the first draft of the signs had the top dedicated to or dedicated. There was a request made to change that to in honor of or honorary. There's some samples in the packet that were received from the designer. We did look at, it was a request for way, boulevard, things of that sort. There was the EMS pointed out, I'm not sure, I know Philadelphia does it that way. There was concern if you place them, the design of this sign has a topper with the township seal. The concern was that if it looked too much like a road name, they would call in if someone was reporting a crime or needed assistance, they would report in, well, I'm on Eagleston Way. And the 911 would not have access to that information, and it could delay treatment, help, and response. We can certainly go back and take another look at that. I think if we are going to go that route, we would want to modify the sign so they would no longer be a topper. Rather, in Philadelphia, they are underneath as a single sign underneath the main name of the street. So the preference, I believe, was to have these on top of the sign, and that was a concern raised from the EMS standpoint.
How many of these signs do we actually have out there? I mean, these are the first two? Or-
Yes.
So we kind of set the precedence.
That's what we kind of talked about in the last meeting, was that this would be, if we do this other places, they would all look like this. That way people know what they are.
I mean, I did like the in honor of.
Yeah,
And these
that's
are a
nice.
different color than the actual street signs, which are green. So that would be another kind of like prompter, like they're blue and the street signs are green. So they're not even the same color. So that should be an indicator as well.
Did you mention the position in Philadelphia where they are?
Yes,
I'm picturing they're above, but
in
am I wrong?
Philadelphia, I believe they were below. I could be mistaken on that.
I
This is the
took
one
a
in
picture this
Coatesville.
weekend. Hold
Oh.
on.
This is the one in Coatesville.
I
This
think
is
I
how
did.
Coatesville
Hold on.
does
Oh,
that.
wow. Oh, dedicated.
Well, I'm just saying how it looks on a street sign as a picture.
You know, that's a good point, how it's laid out.
What I did that I didn't.
It's,
They
it's
have it
above,
above.
it's not even attached to the street sign.
It looks like it is.
It's on top of the intersection.
It's on top of the
It's on
sign.
top of the intersection.
Yeah.
So there is a gap. Oh,
That is nice.
And because
Yeah,
it's a
but the other
different
street
color,
sign is-
stands out.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't
yeah,
look-
but-
So
it
it's like
stands out a
this.
little bit.
looking at the other street sign, you don't see it
Right.
because it's,
It would blend
Right,
in
right.
if it's blue.
I don't know how EMS would take this.
Only as
That's
it's
how they do it in
designated as a
Coatesville.
color. If they were the same color, I would
Well, they
definitely
do
be
it in Philly.
confused.
I thought I had a
I
picture.
tend to agree with Jane. Yeah, it's a different color. Could you
Yeah,
pass it
that
over to
is
Don?
good.
Just to,
Come on.
Yeah, that is good. So you know they're different.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not technically on, right above the sign.
I do believe the ones in the city, they were, if I'm picturing correctly, they were below. And Philadelphia, they have their program for naming streets. It could be Eagleston Way, Eagleston Boulevard, but it would be below. And at the last meeting, there was discussion if we could replicate what the city of Philadelphia has in terms of their honorary signs. If we would go that route, I think we would need to modify the design of these signs, potentially put them below in order to ensure we do not confuse. So if we're going to have Boulevard, Way, Avenue, things of that sort, in order to ensure EMS does not receive the wrong, incorrect street name, we would have to separate it below, and we'd have to modify the design so it would no longer be a topper like this. It would just be a single sign underneath. It's of course as was mentioned, this will set the precedent for future sign designs. So it is important to give some consideration to how it would look in the future, because we may have more of these, and hopefully have more of these in the near future.
I like it as a topper.
It
Yeah.
is in Philly. It is below and it's in red.
It's in, I think the color signifies, yeah.
Directly
one?
below it?
Yes.
Why
Can
are
we
they
see one?
different?
Yeah. Here, hold on 1 second.
Why are they
Cause I
So
think
here's-
anywhere they're gonna see a sign where there is
Oh,
a
yeah,
sign, it's
that's
always gonna
it,
be
right?
confusion. Whether it's on the top or if it's
I
on the
like that.
bottom, unless,
Yeah.
you know, you just let EMS know that our signs are always gonna be on the bottom in red, you know. Well, theirs was in red.
Yeah, I kind of like this on the top.
Oh, I do
You
too.
can discuss
Yeah, I do too.
That's a little
Yeah.
silly.
Mm.
Because Coastville has them that way, so I don't know how their EMS distinguishes, you know, it from the street sign, and do they have any problems with it? Because I went through the city of Coatesville and took those pictures.
In conversations, and our emergency manager can certainly chime in, but these would potentially not cause, they have less of a risk of confusion, especially as a topper with a different design with the township seal on it. It distinguishes itself as unique and separate from the street name. Whereas if it would look more like a traditional street sign, you have Boulevard, Way, Avenue, there, most individuals who live in the community would know what street is where. It would be more for those that may be traveling through and witness something, or see someone in need of assistance and call it in. That was the thought.
I like the blue topper.
And you keep mentioning, the street name Way, Patty LaBelle Way, or
Right.
whatever that
Yeah.
states there. I mean, if we remove that idea and just put the names in honor of the
Street on it.
person,
Yeah, I think
there shouldn't be a street name or a way.
I mean, that was the
We don't have that
conversation
on
we
there.
had, if the different color, the different shape, and not to attach a typical road name.
Yeah,
Would
Yeah, it's
be-
not a road name on it.
right, so
Yeah,
there's
John,
no confusion.
Josh Young Way, was it, or Boulevard? I think
Yeah,
Josh Young Boulevard, yes. I did hear that on the video. Yeah, so you just scratch the Boulevard part and just Josh Young.
Just a
In
name
honor
without a
of-
street or way or
Right.
boulevard or lane, or none of that's attached to the signs.
But in
Do
honor
do you
of,
think that
know
would be
it's-
less confusing for
I
EMS?
agree.
Okay. But the blue sign itself should stand out different than a regular road sign.
Yeah, and again, it's not the responders, it's the people that are needing the assistance, and,
Oh, that are
and,
calling
you
in.
know, a lot of times if it's a neighbor or friend or people in panic situations. But again, the color and a different style would be a very good indicator, and not to have a road name attached to it. I
Right.
think you resolve all those
Mhm.
concerns.
Do we? I saw that Coatesville says dedicated to, right?
Right.
Instead of in honor.
But that was their choice of
Right.
words.
Do you like in honor of, or do you like dedicated to?
Doesn't matter to me.
I like
think
the in honor.
it's
of.
an honor of and dedicated.
I think it's nice within
You say
honor of.
memory of, I mean, it's all the same thing.
Dedicated to,
They
it's
may
like
not be
you
past
dedicate a street.
What they
so-
are.
Well, they
Right,
are,
I
but
know, I'm
yeah,
just kidding.
wanna honor hire someone before they pass.
Roads get
Right.
dedicated, so I kind of like dedicated.
Well, that,
I
you
like it
brought up a good
dedicated.
point, just my 2 cents.
Yeah,
I
in
guess
honor of
you'd
us.
want to think about, because it could be before somebody is deceased.
Right.
Right, yeah.
And dedication of would be nice, cause be consistent.
Now you're adding more words.
Oh,
Or more letters.
Dedicated to,
Dedication.
dedicated to, Very dedicated to. It's-
Yes, Adam, we have a comment here from the township.
Yeah,
Come on
come
up to
up to the
the mic. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Is this a fundraising opportunity for the township? I mean, we
Is-
have, you know,
is
Just
this
a
a
charge, it was a
fundraising
$250
opportunity?
fee.
could you,
Yeah.
you know, had a community person, you could obviously at one point just dedicate to an individual who is, you know, for a worthy reason.
Yeah.
But then
Agree.
could you also, for a fee, open it up so that if somebody wanted to purchase, and then along with that
A
price?
blue check mark.
Yeah.
A red check mark, red.
You know, have that as an
Certified.
opportunity where those funds then just go into a general fund or a park
Well, we
fund
did pay
or
like
something that
$125
could be
a
dedicated
piece for
for,
these.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
township.
Certainly look into if other municipalities have that program and what that looks like.
Gotta be a big ticket item, though. It's gotta be a big ticket item.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. The other option is, I've seen where places have put the name of the dedicated road underneath and then the symbol on top of
That's too
the
much.
original sign.
A lot.
So you could have like the blue oval on top, the original street name,
And then under.
Josh Young Way underneath,
Yeah,
so
that's
that
too
you can
much,
see that it
though.
was a.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Agree.
confusing.
It's
It
Boulevard.
could also be
Boulevard.
for
It's Boulevard.
Paul Mullen Cruise Ship Lane or
Cruise ship lane, I like that.
Cruise ship way,
Uh,
Canal Road.
So now that we're all messed up,
I think we all agree the blue sign, it's just, do we say dedicated to or in honor of to?
Dedicated to.
Dedicated to.
you like that? Dedicated
That's
to?
fine.
Just like Coatesville?
Dedicated to the one I love.
Oh.
To the fact that this is the first time we're, you know, having this program, I would prefer to mock design this up again with dedicated to and bring it before the board at the next meeting before.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah. that sounds-
I'll
When
take
do
care.
we meet again? Do you know how long they actually take to get these signs in production?
I think he said fairly quick. I think
Yeah.
he said they could pump them out fairly quick.
couple weeks.
It was like under 30 days, I thought. It was a
Only
quick-
because the
quick
Vaughn
turn.
family kind of wanted to know, because they're gonna have to travel from Texas. So,
I thought he said like a week or two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
He said
It's a
real
very
quick.
quick turner.
so we tabled again, and then hopefully, I think they're coming in.
I mean, you could always
June
send us
sometime.
an email, with the mock-up, if it's urgent. Is it urgent, Jane, or is it?
Yeah, we're not meeting until the 30th.
I think they, like I said, they want to make travel arrangements to
3
come
weeks
from
out.
from Texas. So,
It's the end of May and June's on top
and they
of
want to
us.
come near the middle of June or something.
The turnaround time is about a week or two,
26.
so we
that's
can
not
get it
too
turned
bad.
around very quickly. I can certainly get this designed and send it out to the board
Yeah, why don't you
for
do
any
that?
feedback in the meantime.
I'm good with that. Residents, any questions on this? Comments? Some other cool names? I like that cruise lane. Anybody in Zoom?
No.
Okay, let's move on. Don, what do we got next?
Friends of-
Next, we have two topics related to the Friends of Stephen Davis Farm. The first, 5.2, is this, of course, is the nonprofit that is being formed up at the Spackman Davis Farm, focused on Spackman Davis Farm efforts. They're at the point of adopting bylaws, those board members, and one section in particular of the bylaws, section 10, does refer to the relationship. As the board, of course, knows, it's township property. So any work done there would need approval from the board and the township to move forward. So section 10 of this potential bylaws does refer to that arrangement with the township. Thought it would be best to present to the board for feedback before the newly formed board of directors would potentially move forward. So the bylaws in their entirety were included in the packet. Article, not section, but Article 10 specifically relates to the relationship with township property and what's required there. This is an open discussion for the Board of Commissioners regarding any thoughts regarding all of the bylaws, and particularly Article 10.
All right, commissioners, any comments?
So my reading of it is, if they want to put a Christmas tree up, that's de minimis and they have access to the property to do that. If they want to rebuild the front porch, then we have to be looped in on that. Is that, am I reading that right?
I think so. My understanding, this as a separate nonprofit, it's governed under regulations and legal authority that's different than a local government entity. They have their own set of standards, rules, regulations that a nonprofit organization must follow. Any sort of agreement or understanding between what is allowed and what isn't allowed can certainly be, and I think, can be drafted and coordinated formally or informally, but it would be between both organizations. The articles in the bylaws are specific to the nonprofit. And I think any sort of discussion and agreement between that gets into specifics of that sort, in looking at various other types of arrangements of this type, and it can be very successful, but they are very explicit. So in that situation, I think it would be good to enumerate out some of those activities in a way that allows for what's considered de minimis and what would be more substantial, replacing the porch.
Okay. So Friends of Marshall Park in Westchester is a really good, probably, because they raised money to redo that whole fountain there and all that. So they might have a good set of bylaws to, or agreement with the borough of Westchester that we could probably look at.
And they have a number of Friends of groups for park purposes in Westchester. I think there's one that focuses on specific parks, such as the one mentioned, and then also an overarching nonprofit that provides support and fundraising opportunity for the Parks Department as a whole. I did reach out to our neighbor, East Brandywine. They have the Friends of Bondsville to see how that arrangement was established. Have not heard back, but I plan on following up and see if we can get some examples from other communities, because there are examples out there.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a bad idea to list those items. That way there's no misunderstanding.
And that would be as an MOU between the Friends and the township, non-exclusive to the language in the bylaws, correct?
Correct. And one form it could take would be an MOU.
Yeah.
And I imagine it would go into greater detail than, for example, Article 10. It would be, if it was done properly, and I trust that it will be, would follow the spirit of what's included, just so there's no conflict between what's in the bylaws of an organization and the rules and regulation of a public entity, of a township, for example, in terms of what can and cannot be done. An example, of course, of the projects over a certain threshold, municipalities are bound to get quotes or put it out to an RFP, and if an improvement is done to township property, we must follow those regulations. So we'd have to explicitly indicate in there and cite what those thresholds would be.
But like putting up flags on Flag Day, not so much of an issue. But if
Planting
they're on township,
roses.
if they're on township property too, though, if they slip and fall or somebody gets hurt, then you've got issues too, which can be in an MOU. They can be worked out through that. So I think we should. I think this is good, but we should probably have an agreement with the Friends.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Like in Article 10, I think what I was reading was more about like, I might not understand it, but how does the financial structure exist between the township as owner of the property and the nonprofit organization as a corporation and control like of their funding, because they can tap into our funding if they need something.
That's,
And the-
no, no.
No,
So
that's
what if
not-
you can't
no,
do that?
That's very specific in here that the township can't go and say, hey, we want $20,000 and you've got it, we're taking it. And Friends can't say, hey, we want $20,000, you got it, we're taking it.
Not taking it,
Like,
but you can
You can't-
exchange,
they
you can't
have-
ever exchange
It's gotta
anything?
be, the
Separate.
board's gotta vote on that, they have to vote on it, and then this board's gotta vote on it. So it's kept, I think I explained that right, did I?
Yeah, so
It
like,
said the relation shall not entitle the township, its finance department, manager,
Mhm.
directors, or board of commissioners to access corporation funds without express written approval of the corporation.
Yes.
And said funds may only be used as instructed by the corporation's board of directors.
And then there's a vice versa.
Then,
on
so
that,
it works
too.
both ways.
Works both ways, yeah.
No,
So, like, if
actually,
we were-
it should.
But
I mean, no township fund should be given to nonprofit organization. I don't see there's any reason.
we're,
well, the township could expend, let's say there's an event there. The township could, expend money to help that event.
services for that event, yes.
And they could donate to a nonprofit. I mean, we donate to the libraries, which are nonprofits.
Mhm.
So you could donate, money could go either way.
That's what
Um,
I was saying. How do you
but
exchange?
like Don said, if they're doing something there that would fall under any of the rules and regulations of bidding and RFPs and things like that, that would all have to be done.
Mhm.
But the way I see it working more is the money flowing the other direction as we begin to build the park out.
Right.
Is that group will raise funds to help, restore the home, help build the park, help,
Well,
but
that's the whole mission. I understand that.
Right.
I just reading this, I just couldn't clarify in my mind, like, how do you distinguish the one from the other? Where do you draw
Well,
a line?
I think
you
that's
know?
where the agreement would come in,
Oh,
this
okay.
MOU that, these guys have
Because it's
brought
like with
up.
the picnic, we're gonna service the picnic. I mean, with our resources, with, some of the fire, MSS, police, whatever's necessary.
Mm.
So I can see that partnership there. I just didn't know how this was, worded in a way that,
I think the spirit and full disclosure, I've been very, Paul got me involved in this damn farm. And I've become very passionate about it, and the historical commission has gotten passionate, and here's the board. I essentially put the band together, and I've been very involved in a lot of making sure this language is constructed in a way that is beneficial for the township and the farm. No one, like that Friends group, should not benefit. No one individually should ever benefit financially from any of this. It's about getting funds to help.
Right.
And, they can say, we would like to turn the house into a 30-story roller coaster, and we've got the money. But they can't make you do it.
right, because they don't have the power.
And,
We can't give up the power
The
to
board
decide.
could say, hey, we want to turn the barn into, merry-go-round, the barn into a merry-go-round.
Mhm.
And we're $30 short, give it to us.
We can't do that.
Right, it's, so everyone's, is that right?
In the way these types of partnerships, in my experience, have worked, Commissioner Young mentioned the Marshall Square Park in Westchester and the fountain that was constructed. At the time they were going through that effort, I happened to be in Westchester. I was at that park quite frequently. It was very exciting. They found this historic fountain buried underneath
Oh, my
and
God.
then restored it back. The Friends Up group, because they have, if someone donates a large amount or a small amount, it is technically a tax deduction to that nonprofit. There's an incentive for people to donate to that. It's very rare for someone to donate to a local government outside of taxes.
Yeah.
So in that effort, they were able to raise significant sums of money and then present it to Borough Council and said, we have $500,000. I forget how much it totally cost. It was quite expensive. we want to construct this fountain. The borough in that case would be responsible for bidding out that work in order to ensure it follows the municipal regulations. The funds would be donated to that project to help pay for it. I think that was a perfect example, Commissioner Young, to really highlight when this is successful. But in that case as well, I believe they do have very defined rules, regulations, and authorities granted to each that separate the entities as independent, both in terms of finances
That's
and
interesting.
their own responsibilities.
with some similar missions. I know that for the friends, you know, with the picnic coming up and talking to Marianne Griffiths, you know, her grandmother just loved her rose garden, her roses that were up behind the spring house, I believe, or along the hill where the spring house is, and then they all invasive species came in and they're gone, and you know the friends would like to replant it. Do they have to go through a process of coming before the Board of Commissioners to get approval to replant those? That seems like a big lift, but if they want to do something like bigger, they should have to come to the Board of Commissioners.
Actually, since it's township property, I feel everything needs to come in front of the board. These
Could be a
folks,
liability issue,
they're-
somebody got hurt on the
Yeah,
phone.
No, not that they just go and do it, but they should be able to do it through.
but the board should be aware, this
Yeah.
is township property. These folks, you know, and they're awesome people, but they're not part of our commissions. They're not part of any of our boards. They're their own entity. So the separation is there. So everything should come, and it'll be a quick meeting where, yes, we want to take care of this. Let's set it up. But I think this board needs to keep control of that property.
Can our people, do the work?
You're trying
It
not to
depends.
cost you know, you're trying to get volunteers like they did at Bondsville Mill so that you're not costing the township money.
Oh.
You know, and that's, I mean, everything that was done at the farm for the tour last year was done by volunteers who all signed off.
Wait, did they sign
waivers?
Waivers.
Okay.
And I suspect that things like replanting the roses would be something like Kathy Callahan sitting out there on the Historical Commission.
Right.
Um,
I think that's where we need to work out the
Yeah.
MOU.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
think, something like putting candles in the windows for Christmas, de
It's
minimis,
minute, yeah.
no cost to the taxpayers or anything. And make it, like, let's say you work out an agreement where if you want to redo the rose garden, you need approval, but maintenance of that rose garden wouldn't need approval.
Right.
So mulching it, things like that, maintaining it, I think you could mark as de minimis. But I think that's where we work out, and staff and Kristen Camp can help us with that.
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah, Kristen Camp's key in this, making sure the legal word. But again, this document is for them.
Yeah, exactly. This,
Just a
I mean,
draft
you're just
kinda
bringing it to us
ideas.
to give us an idea.
And there's two, I've got, let me see, Donna DePrinzio's on, Laura DiMattio's on. So if you have any questions of anyone other than me, you. feel
But
free.
I think the one thing that's good is you're bringing this to us as you're forming. So this
Yeah.
isn't some group that's way out there.
Hmm.
This is
Right.
something that we're in the same building talking to each other as we form this, so that there is a close relationship and not one that all of a sudden now we need to figure out how to make this work.
'Cause 5, 10 years from now, we don't know who's gonna be on this board, we don't know who's gonna be on that board.
Mhm.
So it's about setting something up there.
Because you're creating a third wheel here, so, you know.
Right.
Well, and I think I mean when when Jane, Paul, and Mark, when you got here, this was one of your goals.
Yes.
So
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Right.
like I think this is good, and I think we're all moving in the right direction. It's just
Yeah.
how
Making
do
sure
we
it's
make sure-
refined so
yeah.
that everything's done efficiently, safe.
Yeah, and just to disclose, I mean, you are one of the directors, Mark.
Yes,
on
I
this
said
board.
that.
Right.
That
Okay.
Yes.
I'm a director at large, I'm not an executive. And that cleared ethics.
Good. A lot of work went into it.
Any comments on the bylaws in particular, the language, or any questions that?
Well, considering this is their bylaws, all we can do is make suggestions. And that would be up to them. The one thing that I flagged was the dues. The math doesn't add up. 1750 is not half of 3401.
That's,
Okay.
yeah.
Or is that just
That's just
a
a
filler?
filler. 3401's the address.
Oh, okay.
Mobile food.
And, yeah, I was just concerned about the township funds being allocated for specific uses by the corporation. I just did not agree with that.
Yeah, where's, let me see this
Okay,
under
that's Article
limitations.
10.
confused.
What sentence is it?
Line 7, which we just got done discussing.
Yeah.
Jointers may require corporation funds to be allocated for specific uses for the township and for township funds allocated for specific uses by the corporation.
I know we discussed
The
that.
joint,
Just talked about that, yeah.
these are about joint efforts that
Mhm.
if they're.
Yeah,
go-
so if township funds were being used for an event, we would be paying
Right.
directly towards whatever.
I think that's
Services.
more talking about if you're putting a roof on something and the friends have funds to match with yours. That's what I think is meant, is the spirit of that.
No, at that point, the corporation would donate the money to the township and we would have the roof replaced. And we can
I'm,
work
I'm
this.
thinking it's more like,
Yeah.
if let's say in the budget we had for, just say the picnic, because that's a real thing. If we had $10,000 budgeted toward that and we gave it to the corporation, just gave them $10,000, it would be allocated as for the picnic, and the money could only be used for that.
Right.
That's the way I read that.
Similar to what we do for the
For-
libraries, like you
Yes,
mentioned
yeah.
before.
Right.
Okay.
And this wasn't just, this came out of, 2 township, and nonprofit bylaws that were set up between a township and a nonprofit
Mhm.
and another separate nonprofit that involved property that they would never own. If that makes sense.
Did you have Kristen Camp look at this?
Yes, I did, but she's not here, so.
Yeah.
Kristen actually, I bounced a lot of things off of her.
It's really unique, so that's why I guess it's so
Yeah,
hard to cover. It's like you're not like if I was a nonprofit organization, but I wasn't in any way attached to the township.
yeah,
But being attached to the township as owner of the property, and then having a nonprofit organization within the township
Right.
and the property, it's just
It's
like
a little different.
but it happens. I mean, that's
I-
where
it
we
does
got
happen.
these the
Right.
draft bylaws to play with from.
I mean,
from
another
other places.
example, the downtown library has Friends of the Downtown Library.
right.
Mhm.
So they have the book sales, but they use our property to host the book sales,
Mhm.
to raise money for the library that's raising money from local governments. It gets very complicated very quickly.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why you don't want any complications.
Right.
If you can avoid any.
And I think that's where the MOU
that's-
will be very
yes.
important.
That's fair.
And within the MOU, I'd also like to, I guess, be a little more specific on the improvements and the small activities. So we're working on that.
In looking at various agreements between the municipalities, small, large, medium, and nonprofit organizations, they range from 4 pages to a couple hundred.
Mm.
So there's a wide range. I'm hopeful that we won't need a couple hundred pages to
Yeah.
No, I
find
hope
this
not.
relationship, but if need so be, we can certainly. I think we'll find a happy balance there.
Okay.
And I guess what we really need to talk about at some point is our mutual goals for the property. And honestly, when I read this, I do not see the Kings Highway Park idea in this. I know you had mentioned that it's part of the landscaping. But if everything is centered around the historical value of the Spackman farm, you know, and the house, my concern, and I'll put this publicly, my concern is the money that you're gonna raise will be specifically for that house, which is not a bad thing, cause I definitely would love to see that house renovated to its original beauty. But our original idea was to have this park, a community park for the entire township and surrounding communities to come and enjoy and actually view and see this house.
Yeah, that's
and
how,
enjoy the historical.
that's the conversations that have been going on in historical commission for like the last 2 years.
Mhm.
And that the friends have been discussing about, this should be open to the public and it should be open. I guess the part I'm trying to drive home here is that people at the county planning commission believe this is right on the verge of qualifying as a county heritage site. When you become a county heritage site, the doorway to more grants opens up, which can lead to many things. Do I want 30 playgrounds in there? I don't think that anyone who's involved in historical parks wants 30 playgrounds, but there should be a lot of passive things, beautiful things, places where people can walk, sit. What was that thing someone had sent out today? A labyrinth. You know, just there's a lot of wonderful things. I saw at the polls, I saw Daniel Frillatin who said that house could be an art center. And there's more grant money there. There's so many ideas to make that a very special place where everybody can come together. The 2007 plan had some good things. It had some things that are way outdated now. And the best stuff was the stuff Abby had come up with, or maybe she wasn't here then, but the watershed stuff. You know, there's some really great things in there.
Butterfly
yeah.
farm.
So
Yes. Haven't forgotten about that.
get it rolling. Let's get a trail around it. Start finding a way to get people to park somewhere safely.
Well,
so,
that would be my first concern, parking for that area.
Yeah.
so there's very few options. There's been discussion, I think, about doing something permanent on the hill, but then you have to get a trail to it and then a crossing that's dangerous, and then you got another hill going back up. I've thought that perhaps coming up from Fisherville and putting the parking lot back where that garage is, all the way in the back, the old, but that's gonna take a lot of
Yeah.
talking and engineering and planning.
In,
to
in
find
order to
something
use that,
works.
in order to use that farmhouse, once it's repaired,
Yeah.
restored, parking is gonna be very important
Oh,
for
yeah.
that spot. And,
Yep.
you know, not-
Yeah.
just to go there, and once we have the trails going through the whole property, that'll be our showcase.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I think we all agree with that.
Oh,
That'll
yeah.
be our showcase.
Mhm.
People can see a piece of history
And have
and
their wedding in
enjoy-
the barn.
and in the barn.
Yeah.
And enjoy that beautiful piece of property to watch the sunset. I
Oh,
mean,
my
yeah,
God.
I mean, most of the people in this room have seen that sunset from that
Yeah.
point.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It is beautiful, but it needs to be shared with everybody
Yeah.
in the community. That should be one of our goals.
It's a huge one. I mean, that's,
How many acres of land is that?
well, there's 91 on that side. Is that 91 including the 11 acres where
No.
the house is? No, so there's 102 on that side, on the north side.
There's
And-
30 acres where the cell tower is.
30
Across the
and then
street.
there's another next to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Into,
on the other side of North Bailey, I think there's 5 acres. or
Yeah,
Wow. So there's something
now, this is a lot of land here.
to do a lot of things.
And,
you know, so-
Easy.
And we still
Yeah,
have
I
the
mean-
farmer there, correct?
yeah, he's
We were
still
talking
there.
about golf this up there one time. We had a gentleman that called to offer to the township at no cost if we would just find a place to do it, you know?
I know where, behind the elementary school when the park doubles size.
That, I mean, that land, whenever something happens, when the farmer sprays the land, people call here,
Yeah.
you know, wondering what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, You know, like anything happens, you know, one time the farmer sprayed the field and it was like yellow or something like that. And staff received numerous phone calls about what was going on there. So, you know, we can do a lot of things here. We'll pave roads and we don't hear from anybody.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
We
land.
spray the
so it's-
land there. And this building gets flooded with phone calls.
Beautiful.
Oh, I had two notes. Randall Spackman has been allowing a horse rescue to operate on Thornberry Farm.
Oh, okay.
Yes, an MOU means a memorandum of understanding. And the nonprofit will be perpetual while the Board of the commissioners will change, that doesn't, as things, just like it, in 2007, there was a plan, the Board of Commissioners could change their plan. So they could be, the Friends could be always pushing for that park. I didn't expect that kind of a
Nice
conversation.
That's
discussion.
That's what it's all about, right?
My
Good
takeaways
discussion.
as far as action would be to research and start putting together draft MOU for consideration.
Mm-hmm.
And I will start on that right away. That's acceptable.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me reach out to the residents here if I didn't already. Any questions on this? Hot topic? The excitement, they're jumping up and down again here in the township building? None at this time? How about in Zoom? Any comments? We are looking forward to this,
We
union.
just gotta get a parking lot there.
A big one.
In a way that it doesn't destroy that beautiful vista.
Oh,
Yes.
That's the thing. That's why. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say agree.
Yeah, it's,
Mhm.
you always want to have that agriculture going on there. And you always want to see that house all laying out there without a bunch of cars sitting there. It'll, listen,
No, I agreed.
the right thing will come and it will be unavoidable. It'll be so clear what the right thing
When you
is.
see it, you'll know.
When we see it, we'll
When we
know.
see it. So, all right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Good conversation.
Yep.
All right.
Continuing on the theme.
Yes, Don.
Next topic, we do have, as was mentioned earlier in this discussion, there is an event planned at the farm. An application's been submitted and we've been modifying that, adding to it. Believe that was included in, not the packet, it was included in copies we're providing.
Oh,
There's been several meetings with staff in order to review the plan for that event. Staff feedback was incorporated into the event in terms of safety and ensuring that it flows successfully. As you can see on the application form, there is a fee associated with that. There was a request made to waive the fee. I believe it's $50 for up to 150 people, and that goes to 75 from 150 to 250, I believe, and then so on and so forth. The line item here is to discuss the event and discuss the possibility of waiving the fee for that event on June 29th.
All right, commissioners, comments? To fill us in?
Is this a fundraiser or people will be charged just for their lunch or I guess?
it's an official Chester County America 250 event. It is the kickoff
Okay.
Right.
for America 250. There will be fundraising going on, but it's an open event. I mean, you need to register just so we make sure we have enough room.
Right.
But if you want to have, there's a caterer who's providing lunches that you can order. They cost money, but it's a ridiculously low price. There's a bluegrass band. There's going to be a craft beer vendor. There's going to be a local winery. There's going to be games, like vintage kind of games. They're trying to recreate the vibe of the last family picnic there in 1915. So,
What kind of games did they play?
they played croquet. They
Okay.
played, I think we call it cornhole now, but it was beanbag
Beanbags.
toss.
Beanbags.
Ring toss, probably with the old bottles with the,
Yeah.
oh, I get it.
You're gonna toss me. The roadway will be kept clear for emergency vehicles. The picnic tables will be kind of snaking along the north side of the northern tree line along the driveway, where that meadow is being mowed down to be nice and level. The activities would be going on out there. It would be a repeat of a trolley transporting people down, but by pre-registration, you would be told what time you were scheduled for the trolley. You'd have a reserved parking spot. There will be a cutoff to how many people can register, but we can handle up to, I think, 300. We can cover that much table-wise. Could be 150. That's our minimum. We need 150. But it could be as many as 300 again. Just ask, because I know I'm leaving things out. There will be the historical commission will again clean up the inside of the house that has been rotting again for a year, and the first floor on the south and west side will be furnished like it was for the tour, so people can look in. That's it. They're not allowed around the other side. What we have is a serious problem with what's it called when the sinkholes, and I mean where the spring comes up is starting to fall completely in, and a lot of groundhog holes. So we have to keep people off of those areas. There will be a recitation of the Declaration of Independence in a fun way. There will be, I believe, a raffle of a beautiful wooden flag. A wooden clock, yes. It's about getting more eyes on the farm, getting people more interested in getting involved to get that sucker going, and to again keep building that momentum towards
Building a parking
lot for
Yeah.
for 2026, because we need it, and I could tell you I'm at enough county things now that what happened out of that tour last year is they're not sitting around saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see what Westchester does." They're sitting around saying, "I can't wait to see what Calhoun does." And I mean, it blows my mind, but I'm not exaggerating. Am I exaggerating?
Of course not.
I mean, really, it's.
Everyone's jumping up and down again.
Yeah.
But really, it's we've moved to the head of the class, so.
So, technical questions, Ray. If they have 300 people, are we prepared?
Not yet.
Oh, boy.
Okay, and there is a cutoff at some point.
Yes, yeah, there will be. There definitely.
You're saying 300 is the cutoff.
300, I think, is the cutoff.
The
Yeah,
limit?
I don't think.
Yeah, the primary concern, I think last time was 300 was we were maxed out in the
Yeah.
parking.
Yes.
Parking.
So.
Okay, parking across the street. And as far as the trolley, I know it was a slow-moving thing for the walking tour, but I guess you're just picking up and dropping off.
Just picking up and dropping off.
So the
and
logistics.
no one's acting up on that thing at all. So it'll just be get on the thing and get down.
You can make it there from the beer garden? See?
Oh.
This
Do we
way
have a
going
liquor
down that
license?
hill now. No, I'm just kidding.
We would not have a liquor license. We would, the whoever would be providing that would be required
Have
Yes.
to have certification, to serve.
the
She
trolley
been
would
recording.
drop off in front of the house, like right by that side porch there,
Mhm.
and that's where people would sign in and get their table, where they're going to their tables. Porta
They walk
potty,
down.
porta potties will be around the side, the back of the house.
Right, yeah.
And then they walk down. I mean, we were originally talking about putting the porta potties up in the barn, and I tried that walk.
No,
Never make it.
It's,
thank you.
So will you be able to purchase food like from food trucks, or will you actually have a pre-packed lunch or
you,
something?
you,
gonna
you,
be
you,
packed
you
on
order
box.
your lunch.
You order it
You
when
order
you do your
ahead of time.
registration?
Yes. and
Okay.
you
After
get to
registration?
choose From, it's coming from Dixie Picnic in Malvern. who
Oh, yeah,
opened-
they're nice.
awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
are.
They are.
That's good.
Thank you. I love that place.
I love their
Oh,
lemon cupcakes.
The upcakes, and they're
Cupcakes.
so excited about this because they're from farms.
Right,
Mhm.
Dixie.
And they're coming dressed in like 1910 costume. I mean,
Okay.
Are you making us hungry? Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a
No, I'm just
question.
kidding.
Hand raised? Up to the microphone.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
Everybody in the Zoom world loves to hear this stuff.
Hi, Chris Parr, 582 Lloyd Avenue. I just wanted to say that the key to this event will be reservations.
yes.
That's huge,
Mhm.
huge. Since I dealt with it up top with Ray and a few others, I think that's huge. But also this event, it's a free event. So if you choose not to have, reserved meal, you can bring your own. You can bring your blanket. You can put it out on the lawn. You can bring your own little lunchbox. So you have that choice.
Okay.
So that way it is open to everyone so they can still be involved with the activities. It's just you may not get the Dixie picnic,
Upkeep.
but
Yeah.
you certainly are more than welcome to come. It's just you do have to register ahead of time. And I think the big reason is because of the bus situation,
Right.
excuse me, the trolley
Parking.
situation, because we don't want to deal with what we did before. And it's going to be a bigger trolley than the last time. And I just think that there'll be a lot more coordination done ahead of time because we know what to expect from last
We
year.
learned a lot.
We learned a lot, but it was a very successful event, and there's still talk of it. And I think that this is going to be, a very successful event as well. But I think I wanted to make the point that it is free to anybody. Anyone can come. It's just you do have to register, and that will all be on the site.
Okay, so they need to present a ticket of some type or, print out
They'll
at the
get
time?
some sort of thing they can
Okay.
print
Knowledge
out.
that-
You know, we're building the cars, we're
Confirmation.
going 200 miles an hour. So,
Okay.
and the main line today reaches 107,000 households in Chester County.
Mhm.
And the June issue, which will come out the last week of May, has a half-page four-color ad for this.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You won't be able to,
You know what I mean?
You're
But
gonna
people
sell
have to
out.
register.
you're
Yeah.
gonna sell out in like a day.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do then?
Schedule another one. I mean, no.
Let them sign up for the June or July event.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
As far as the trash and the recycling receptacles, are they dropped off and picked up, or is that our responsibility?
Last year, the township dropped them the night before and picked them up at the end. I think the proposal was that volunteers would manage the trash throughout the day, but request that Public Works remove all trash and recycling at the end.
Is that? is this-
However, it
what
was
day
done
is this?
last
Is
year.
it
It's a Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Trash
Until
shouldn't sit
Monday.
over the weekend.
Until Monday.
What's Public Works take on this?
Trying to recall when we were out there, Director Huggins did come up. We could do it a couple different ways. And probably, you're absolutely correct. Having it out over
Yeah.
the weekend would not be,
Yeah.
The
not be a great
animals would have it.
situation on
Okay.
an agricultural based
Yeah.
property. So we'd have to coordinate with them in order to ensure that it's cleaned up in a proper manner quickly.
We put the trash.
That's
Okay.
one of those details that will keep shifting
We put
until
the trash.
it will be.
Yeah, there's no dumpster there. hate to bring out Public Works just for an hour's worth of trash pickup. Yes, Kathy?
Oh,
He has offered to just drop it off at her house.
no, it's in her hands.
I don't think your husband would like that.
No, no.
And all the animals can come over, invite all the animals over. Come on in.
I would even say leave it in the house, but I'm scared of
Oh,
that as
yeah,
well.
no.
No, you
Yeah,
can't.
because the varmints are probably inside somewhere in the house.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not an
Would
option.
would it make sense to rent a
Dumpster,
dumpster that would be picked up on Monday or something?
Ibelinski's or something.
Yeah.
I would imagine, a contractor would have an option. They would charge, of course.
Yeah.
But in order for pickup over, scheduling that
The
sort of thing,
weekend
we can look into that.
Yeah, that might, I mean, that might be
Then
a less
Pay for, you know,
costly thing than to call in Public Works, because they've got to come in, mobilize, take the trash out, and then go home, and we pay them for that.
And that would be
time.
overtime.
Right, so
Yeah.
it might actually be less expensive just to rent a dumpster.
You know, another thought, everyone's been to a national park. They have those metal containers where you actually need to hand grip and open the lid. If we're gonna be throwing parties at this place, it might be a nice option to have something there.
Eventually.
I'm just trying to save Public Works hassle to come out on a weekend. But
damn double
I'd like
time.
to see them
But-
come out as
Fine.
guests and party.
and not walk home with the trash. Just a thought.
That's a really good point. We'll
That's a
make sure
very
of
good
that.
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I over in Honolulu, we were doing a walking tour, and I just remember seeing that, and I realized pretty much at every national park they have those. Not to throw out that I was in Honolulu, I'm not rubbing that in
Yeah.
at all.
You are. Yes, he is.
Sure.
I got my plug in.
But he did not wear a Hawaiian shirt, and I am
Oh.
really disappointed.
Oh. Next time. All right, portable toilets, we talked about that. Parking, EMS, the fire police, are they paid? Who's paying them?
So, I mean, usually part of the public gathering, police, they have to account, if police have to be there, they have to account for the police overtime. If public works are there, they have to account for the public works overtime. And, fire police, the same thing. There's a fee per hour for the fire police. That's what typically happens with a public gathering. The only thing I'll mention, I know the group reached out to the fire company. I know they're, putting a sign up, but the only other concern that I had was, what if making sure that there's a contingency plan? What if they can't get enough fire police? Because we literally are to the point where, obviously we have paid firemen now for a reason.
Mhm.
So that's my only concern. It's summer, it's summertime. It's right before the 4th of July. To safely do that, they need 3 to 4 fire police, at a minimum. So I'm just concerned whether they're gonna get enough people.
That's a great thing to work on, is a backup plan.
And would they need to be there the entire event?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, even though everyone's carted down, they're eating, they're having a great time,
Yeah,
throwing,
but the
tossing.
trolley's gonna probably be running pretty much the entire time. So you would need
Okay.
that control the entire time.
Okay. Okay, let's work on
And
that.
the only thing worth mentioning is that, anybody that would be on the roadway definitely has to be certified.
Yes.
Certified.
And do you have to have EMS, like, actually physically there,
So EMS will be there. That's not a problem. They may have to leave for calls. They typically don't have a problem with that because they're in count anyway.
Right.
Okay, so
So-
it doesn't
make
matter
sure you
where they
schedule
sit.
that they're there?
Right.
Yeah, I think last time they were staged as we discussed
Right.
over where the parking is, kind of out of way, so they can either immediately respond over
Yep.
or respond to a call. These days are pretty busy, so they may not be there a whole lot. But I don't see that as a problem.
Okay.
That's it.
believe the plan changed dramatically when you get to deliver, like the original plan was for the tables to be going down the driveway, and that's why there was a specific thing about
Table
deliveries
option
here.
one, yeah.
Tables will not be in the driveway.
Okay.
But we still, I
Along
think
the
we probably
side.
still should have a 1 hour pre-event cut off on that driveway. Sure that
The, oh yes, Chris, come on up.
Chris Parr, 582 Lloyd Avenue.
if you wear the little hat, yes, you can.
No, I was just wondering when you were talking about emergency response, can you use any other medical professionals to be there? For example, myself, I'm a nurse.
Like you have people.
Or
on
if
staff.
someone is certified in CPR who teaches CPR, I know she's gonna be there. Are you allowed to use other medical professionals?
That would be a question for Ray.
Yeah, I don't see that as a problem. Again, I don't see it as a problem if the ambulance is on and off the site either. So either way.
Okay,
I mean, I think the ambulance definitely needs to be there because they have all the medical equipment.
of course,
But it would definitely make people feel better if there's other people there
Sure.
certified in case the ambulance is out on another call.
that's,
Yep.
I was,
Yep.
yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Yep.
All right, great. Thanks.
Excellent.
Kind of like that incident on an airplane. You know, where's the doctor? Anybody a doctor here?
And
Yeah.
everybody come
So-
running, yeah.
So we would definitely take the help. Appreciate that, Chris.
Stop calling me Shirley.
A few people get that.
I see one in the corner back there. Who got it?
The question I have, will there be tents of some type to block the sun? Because I'm thinking June 29th, it's going to be pretty warm, and the sunset is right there.
This should be over well before the sun is in that position. That's, I
12 o'clock.
believe
Well, the sun's going to be shining right down where the tables are.
they're on the other side of the trees. Okay, if you're looking at Kings Highway,
Mm-hmm.
here's the tree line down the driveway.
Right.
Tables are over here. The sun should be here through the majority of the event and not get around to here until the end. Sunset. We were talking about that when we were all out there.
My understanding was the tables were on the left side coming down the driveway.
No,
Left side of
they'll
the
be on
table?
the right.
On
On
the right
the right
side?
with
I
that.
thought that was a stormwater
Right.
issue there.
No, it's a storm wisher on the other side.
Am I viewing this wrong?
Yeah, going up, going up, the tables are gonna be on the left, coming down, they'll be on the right.
Okay, so
Okay.
going up towards the
It'll be left.
farmhouse,
They're on the
on the
left.
left.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
so
safe over
we
there.
are talking the same way. You're just looking down, I'm looking up. Okay, I get it now. But that's where the sun sets.
This is over, I think, at 4. And the
It says
sunset
Well,
five,
well, my
that time
point
of
here
year
is
like
between 1 and, between 1 and
Yeah.
5, the sun will be
Yeah.
coming down on that side. I just
Right.
believe.
I don't have an issue with that.
Well, you
I
have
mean,
on
with
their diagrams,
doing
tents if
whatever we need
needed,
to
you
do,
know.
but
You know.
when we were out there looking at it with Ray and Huggy, somebody said the sun's not going to be there, and it wasn't. Abby, you're the one who knows these things. Then
Well,
yes, as of what time?
Probably noon.
That's not good, because this doesn't start until 1.
Well, see,
Yeah, you're gonna have all the sun during that period of time.
I was, I didn't. Yeah, we can figure this out.
I've been on the mountains in Honolulu.
Yeah.
I've seen the sun.
Oh.
All right,
Are
so
people allowed to bring their own like pop-out chairs and pop-ups and stuff? Would that be an option?
what?
Like, the pop-up,
Oh, the
the
tents?
tents, and like their lawn chairs or something? That would be a problem?
We haven't gotten there yet.
I would recommend not.
No.
for
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the shuttle.
Yeah, because
That
you got the shuttle or
Yeah.
the trolley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
suggestion would be
it's-
shade for some of the folks that may need it.
The older elder.
Yeah. It's I certainly don't want to be out there baking in the sun myself.
That's why it's a
Yeah.
discussion. I love it. Sound equipment, karaoke.
No.
Only if you're the only one singing.
No.
How much wine is there?
Not enough.
Very good.
I think that covers all my questions. Just by quickly reading this. Commissioners, any other questions on this?
No.
I'll ask the residents here. Still jumping up and down? Any in Zoom?
No.
Wow, no
Definitely be a
questions.
fun event.
Boy.
And I know this is for the fee waiver idea.
What I
Have
would-
have we done this before for other events? I know we do it for ourselves.
It's certainly within the purview of the board, so to waive a fee for a request, or an application or anything of that sort. It would be within the rights of the board to do so.
Didn't the color run, didn't we used to waive the fee for all the time?
Oh, okay. Right, and this is for the Chester County 250.
Yeah.
Promoting that.
If, we can certainly take the feedback from the board, work with the applicant to update the application to finalize some of those details and bring it back for a final action at the last meeting, if that would be acceptable.
That's fine.
Yeah, because they don't have much time. I mean, you're talking about June, and it's almost end of May, so we don't meet again till,
Till the end of May. But,
It's
and then it's
already
30
okay.
days from that point, so that.
yeah, but they want to start advertising and starting to get some activity going here.
Well,
Will-
it
will-
would just
will
be
that
the
delay
fee,
it?
not, the
Yes,
board
we-
doesn't approve the application, right? Is that a zoning officer?
Yeah, the public gathering, yeah, has been a sign off, myself, the police chief and the public works.
Okay.
Mhm.
We're just waiving, the only thing that we need to be part of is waiving
Waiving the
the
fee.
fee and the use of the property.
And that action is the only thing I think standing between the application being approved. Is that correct?
I think we can incorporate some of the
Yeah.
items
Yeah.
brought up this evening into the final application. But the fee would, consideration of a waiver would be the final step.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, and of course, it depends on how many participants. Because if
Well, he
it's
said
above
300 is
250,
$75.
we're up to $75.
But we'll be waiving it.
But the action item would be for the following meeting, correct?
We can certainly do that, yes.
They can start
And
advertising.
they can still continue with their process in the meantime, correct?
I would think that'd be acceptable.
Okay.
Can they go start advertising full blown?
They should be.
They are running out of time to.
Understood. I think we can very easily and quickly incorporate the discussion topics this evening into a final application, run it through the necessary directors for final feedback, and then the final action would just be a formal approval or denial of the board regarding the fee waiver.
Yeah, it's only the fee
But it-
waiver. that the
Right.
board-
Exactly, it's up to Ray to approve you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, That's a
So,
lot of pressure.
With that in
Yeah,
mind,
no problem, just another day for me, trust me.
with that in mind, is there any other items that the board would like to consider with this application before we move forward with that? Just everything else is acceptable except for the items
it's cold
raised.
in
That
here.
that gives us some direction from a staff standpoint to advance. Advance forward.
I'm good.
Yeah, you good,
I'm good.
ladies?
my head's
Okay.
spinning.
I'm cold.
I
Alright.
think we're good.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you so much, Don.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, we only have 2 minutes to discuss food trucks.
I mean, you could table it.
No!
Very well said.
Ah,
Again?
Ah,
Oh, that was
very
cute. That was cute.
Definitely just joking. Just joking.
It's late,
very
but
good, Ray.
that was cute.
Very good.
I just want to, before we get started, I just want to thank Director Stackhouse. I know there's, this was brought before the board previously. A lot of work went into modifying the ordinance in order, the potential draft ordinance to take into account board questions, concerns, thoughts, and I think the final product, as I reviewed it, is commendable the work that went into putting this forward. I think it'll be a great asset for the community. It would give a degree of regulatory authority to ensure it's done safely from all standpoints, and also provides this opportunity for businesses to help bring customers in with food trucks.
So if I may, I mean, commissioners, everybody had a lot of different comments the last time, and I just want to throw back at the manager that, you know, I think he really helped me put in perspective, I think, some of what I was missing, that I couldn't figure out. I couldn't put my finger on what maybe your guys' concerns were. Of course, we had a lot going on at the time as well, but I think one of those keys I'm hoping was shifting the focus of the responsibility for the permit to the business owner where the food truck's going to operate as opposed to the food truck. And that's where the manager had a lot of input, and I really hadn't looked at it that way. So what we discussed was that the property owner really should be the responsible party for the permit.
Right.
The food truck operator is another small business, and they really are these days.
Right.
So why burden the food truck operator is going to have enough responsibility getting his their Department of Health license, making sure all the regulatory stuff is completed. The property owner, who's going to benefit some absolutely from having the food truck there, based on what we see on businesses these days, and put that responsibility on them. So that was kind of the first key point. The other thing we looked at was how these permits would operate, and we really had a lot of discussion about where do we see them and how do we see them operating. So we really kind of broke it down into two types of permits. One being a single event permit, meaning you know, a business wants to have an event, and sometimes that event's a 3-day event. It might be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. So that's why that single permit could be up to 3 consecutive days. Might be one day, but it might be a weekend.
Right.
The other one would be a temporary multi-event, and this would be a use on the same parcel, consecutive or non-consecutive days for a maximum of 6 months. Well, the reason we picked that was, again, it could be a business that has an on-again, off-again event. It could be a business that has multiple food trucks, different ones that come every weekend. And we picked 6 months because we have a temporary, from a zoning perspective, we have a temporary use regulation, and that's a maximum of 6 months that actually the zoning officer can extend if they want to. So that was the second thing we kind of focused on. The other thing, I kind of broke it down. I heard some comments from the commissioners. So commercial property, it just kind of talks about how that works. You can have up to 3 mobile food trucks with the availability that, based on my review, I could allow more. So if somebody was having an event and they wanted to have 5 instead of 3, as long as they had the capability to do that, we could allow that. And then private non-commercial properties, meaning somebody's residential property, somebody wants to have a party, they have property that's large enough, there's no permit fee, but the regulations are kind of the same. You still want to have those regulations in case we get complaints or something occurs. We still want to account for that safety. So there's no permit required, but if we get a complaint, everybody would know or have access to this, they understand what those safety requirements are. Hours of operations, we kind of kept them similar to any of our activities, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. With the availability to approve additional hours, potentially. Say we're having an event, a township event in the park, and you want it to go a little past 10, and that's reasonable because there's not a residential property around it. So literally, I mean, all the rest of the stuff's in there, and it's kind of minor. It just talks about waste collection, signage. They can have a food board, you know, out telling what they have. there's an indemnification clause in there, and that would be if we decided to allow somebody to have an event on one of our properties. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Food trucks wouldn't be able to operate in the township right of ways, except for an ice cream truck. So if we had an ice cream truck that wanted to operate, I still think it's important that there's some kind of permit attached to that, or regulations, I should say, and then we could allow them to operate in the township right of ways. That would be one of the odd instances where that operator would probably have to get a permit, because that's the only way we could do that.
Yeah.
Ray, I had something I had tagged under that. You're putting a limit of 15 minutes for the ice cream truck. Come on, man. Can we do that around the clock? Can it just be? They can be there,
No,
open as
no.
long as they want, and
Well, you
How
don't.
many?
I mean, and I literally just took that out of somewhere, and it was so that the truck keeps moving.
Oh,
around the
yeah.
Right.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that
Yeah.
applies. They don't stop. I mean, I'm not out there with a stopwatch checking them either. If they got a line of kids, they can go longer than 15 minutes.
Can we make sure they're outside of the township building after every meeting?
I would be fine with that. Past 10 o'clock.
Yes.
There's 5 addresses up here that they need to drive by.
Yes.
It's a given.
What's
Uh,
the fee?
So I haven't come up with a fee, because we'd have to do that by resolution and
Right.
change it.
Mhm.
Right.
It would be de minimis as well. I would try to kind of figure out how much time it would take us, and literally we were thinking 50 to 75 hours. Just to cover staff's
day, right.
costs to go out, because we were
Right.
still
Basic.
doing inspection on the site just to make sure it's safe.
So
How
the
many
food-
of these like requests are you getting?
So it's funny you say that. So, I'm also getting a lot of flack because we didn't have a regulation about food trucks. So I had always been telling everybody, you can't have a food truck unless it's associated with like you're having a seafood sale at Giant. You want to have a seafood food truck come in to promote that sale. I
Gotcha.
kind of was allowing that to occur. Other people wanted to do food trucks for like on a constant basis at a different business, and I said, unfortunately, the ordinance doesn't really allow that right now. So now that we have multiple food trucks around
Right.
the township that are there all the time. So the answer is
by
a lot, and
McDonald's,
we're
those
starting
two.
to get more.
They run every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those two they're down by your neighborhood every
Yeah.
day. Big Boys, who's a great
Yeah,
guy. He's a great
Jeffries,
guy. I
yeah.
mean, he's parked at Jeffers. Now I think he's only open on the weekends, but
Batteries,
he's open every weekend.
Yeah.
And I've just kind of been, they all have. I know they have their Department of Health certification. I've been kind of letting that go because I knew we were working on this.
So in that situation, would Jeffers have to file the permit?
That's
Yep.
correct.
Okay.
Now my guess is he would tell the food truck, listen, it's going to cost me $50 or whatever.
Have you here?
You have to pay that. But
His
at least
name.
he's taking the responsibility because it's his property.
Is that $50 every weekend?
It would be if it was a one-time event. Let's use Big Boys as an example. Big Boys is probably going to stay there. It would be once every 6 months. And the reason for the 6 month period also is because something might change with their safety features. I felt it was important that we do go back and do that inspection.
Would the 6 months also be de minimis?
Well, we do like any of our permits when they we do check them every month to see if they've expired.
Mhm.
So once we seen it expired, we would contact them and tell them your permit's expired. You have to renew.
But it wouldn't be like a, it wouldn't be a huge price for a 6 month.
Oh no. It would be the same
Same.
price. Literally the cost, whatever to cover our time to go out and do the inspection.
One other question under single event. Say use on a parcel that may include consecutive days not to exceed 3. The way we've been having weather, say someone pays for a single event and the whole 3 days gets rained out, can we put language in there that they would get a rain date?
Absolutely. That's a good catch. Yeah, again, don't get me wrong, we want to promote, you know, I feel the board probably is in agreement with promoting these things, just making sure they're not a negative
And they're
impact to the
regulated.
community.
Right,
Yeah, rain date is more
Yes.
than reasonable, sure.
okay.
Catch.
Play ball.
And again, back to that fee, I hadn't really completely thought that through. Again, I'd have to present that separately as a resolution, but if you were kind of good with what was this, that would be my next.
Right.
That would be my next thing that I would present to you.
And then you would visit the food trucks that are already in existence without it.
And I would go work again.
That
We
they
would
get-
be reasonable. It's
Right.
kind of like, and I know this might be a sensitive subject, like the parking on the grass thing. You know, we didn't run out and start citing people for parking on the grass. You know, that was a phased in. Hey, we want to make sure you know this. We tried to knock on doors. Same thing with here. You know, I'm not just going to go tell Jeffers, hey, by the way, you need, you know, I would say, hey, there's a
Effective
new
as
ordinance
of-
out. You know, by next month, you have to get a permit.
That's fair.
I know.
Don?
Just one point to mention on me and then our personal. I have a family member as a restaurant in Lehigh Valley, has a food truck component, and he would be wary about going into a community that doesn't have a permit process because in the past, when he would, if someone does have a complaint and there's no approved location, he, staffing up for food truck, prepping food, a lot of time, money, and expense, and he could lose that day because he could be told to move. If you have a permit, you have a location set, and there's a guarantee also on the small business end that they wouldn't be, if it's approved, they wouldn't be told to move and lose those funds. So it protects the food truck operator as well to a degree.
Good. Alicia?
Hi, everybody. It's Leisha Creedy from 103 Airwood Drive.
Hi, Alicia.
Very excited about the food trucks because I think it'll bring the diversity in cuisine that we don't have here yet in Callan, but we will one day. But I was thinking about, like in our business in the biotech world, there's a non-compete. So I can't be next to another person at a certain exhibit, for example, if they're selling the same product as me. So is there anything that would protect somebody else's business? If I have an ice cream truck and I want to have it come in every Saturday next to an ice cream store, is there anything to protect the ice cream owner next door from not having a truck pull in next to them?
I actually think I can answer that. It's the owner of the property where the truck is going that pays for the permit. So it would, 9 out of 10 times there wouldn't.
Yeah, but the owner's next door to the ice cream place. He
If
might not,
he's-
he's
right.
not associated with the ice
That's,
cream
yeah, that's a
place.
really good point.
So he could
Yeah.
probably still have ice cream next to the ice
Right.
cream.
That's a
And I
great-
don't think we want to get into policing what.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
that's the problem. I mean, that's a good point, but the problem would be you wouldn't be able to tell a property owner you can't
yeah.
do that. Just like I'll give you an example. We can't tell a property owner that runs a pizza business that you can't
Sell
have another pizza
pepperoni.
business and another pizza business and another one side by side in the same
People
strip
want to go
mall.
where they.
We have that already. Do
I'm
we?
just thinking of as we hopefully have new small businesses or businesses coming into the township that are going to offer different foods and services, that might happen someday, where somebody has a truck and somebody moves in next door and they have the same kind of food. Just was thinking ahead.
Go there.
It's
Yeah,
great
good
thinking.
point.
Great thinking.
Good point.
Thanks.
Does Couch Tomato have a truck?
Yeah.
All right, any other questions from residents? They're not jumping up and down this time. Any in Zoom? Nope, none? All right, is this an action item?
It is not. This was just a discussion. We can certainly advance it if there's an interest from the board. If there are any changes that would be recommended, we can take that, and incorporate those. This is a discussion to see how the board would care to proceed with this. But the timing was good with it warming up and more events being outside. So
Mm-hmm. Good. Well, we definitely need it on the next agenda. Are you gonna need it approved prior to that?
No.
if the
Okay.
board feels comfortable with the language, and we can have it on the next agenda as to authorize the advertising of the ordinance.
She helped me, she looked at the original one, so I will definitely run the minor changes. But she looked at the legal when I did the original one, so.
On the next agenda.
Okay, thank you very
Look
much.
forward to it.
Great, thank you. I will, work on that fee schedule resolution change as well.
Okay.
Can I add one last thing here? In the
Check.
actual ordinance, before purpose and compliance as like a intro paragraph, could you actually use the first paragraph of your memorandum, so it kind of sounds like, this is something, language like that, that's saying, hey, this could be a really great idea with the increase in population involved in a growing community. Mobile food trucks become more.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I would probably do that as like a cover letter
okay.
when we go to advertise it, like,
All right.
because what we did with the no parking on the grass, I think we actually put it on our website, put it on social media, and I could do a cover letter
Excellent.
to speak to why and.
Just like happy.
Yep.
Can I ask you a question? You did a no parking on the grass. Did you do a no parking on the dance floor?
It's late, he
It's
doesn't.
The dance.
No parking, baby.
Time to like get him out of here. It's getting
Thank you
late.
very much, commissioners. That's all I have.
It's time to
It's time to
streamline.
like,
Time to streamline. Okay.
let's do it.
Ray, thank you so much.
I missed that too.
All right.
He had to get.
I missed that too.
All right. Next on the agenda. Checks to approve. Commissioners, any questions on the checks? I did as well. Good night, Adam.
I read it online, that's why I knew what was going on.
Yes.
I don't have the paper copy.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so
That's what I was-
52012, the Lloyd Avenues as lights out for $502.
Traffic light had to be repaired.
Is that 52012?
Page 44 of our packet.
That's the Lloyd Avenue Bridge light.
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
Arrow
Are they
light out.
are they still under warranty?
Was it in your street?
No, I think it's the
It says-
bridge light.
Yeah, I think it's the traffic light.
Oh.
I'm thinking that's what it's for, but because it says traffic light repair.
But that could be at Lloyd Avenue and,
Manor.
Manor.
It says
Yeah.
Lloyd and Arrowwood. It says right
Oh, it
there.
does?
it does.
Arrowwood
That's the bridge.
lights out.
So just a question if it's still under warranty. If not, what happened to the light there?
Move it in there.
Because it should be an LED light that
Should be.
Right.
shouldn't be out already.
I know there's been work done there, so that's something I can certainly
Okay.
explore.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top, but I can certainly look at that some first.
Maybe
step.
Aqua can pick that one up.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Ray, I did have a question for you on 51,970, monthly cleaning service of 1,050. The name is Promising Development. I thought we signed an agreement with someone else.
We do, but they sometimes, if I'm not mistaken, again, I can't speak to that because I've never seen the bill.
Okay.
But that might be, Jan Pro is the parent corporation, that might be the subcontractor.
Oh, you pay them directly. Okay.
Maybe, again,
We can
I'll
check.
ask tomorrow, I'll talk to Michelle and Huggins.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions?
No.
Not entertain a motion to approve the check run.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Young, second by Commissioner Tendero. Close third. All right, all in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
I didn't ask for any questions, but was there any questions? Nope, they just want to get through this. All right, let's move on. Hey, board liaisons. This is exciting. All right, Park and Rec, we'll start with you. Jane, what do you got?
I'm gonna toss
Oh.
the baton to Abby.
We have Abby filling in, pitch hitting.
Just real quick, we had a shorty this week, this week for Parks and Rec meeting. But we did have our first art in the park last night. We did kind of a dry run, so that one wasn't advertised, and people still came and they were delighted, so that was great. Those are going to be every other Wednesday, basically for the rest of the summer. And that's in conjunction with All for One Art, which is the little art nonprofit that was down in Acme. And her and Liz, one of our Parks and Rec members, are getting together and doing like nature-based projects, and people can just drop in and do those, and it's super fun. So, yay!
Did she come to our meeting about a year
Yes.
ago?
Yes,
Two
Kim
years.
did.
Oh,
Yeah.
2 years? It's been that long?
Like it was 2
Yeah,
years ago.
she's great.
She
So,
was. I remember
Yeah.
that.
You should stop by and do some art.
I should check it
On a
out. I'm
Wednesday.
terrible at it, but I'll give it a try.
Hey, Abby, I see
They'll do footprints in the park.
Chester County 250,
Oh my gosh.
250 right there with the
There's
kids
so many
doing art
ideas.
projects. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to mention is the cleanup crew has 5 events scheduled for the rest of the year, and these are going to be in like hard to reach places, so places we haven't cleaned before. Public Works is going to come out and flag for us so that it will be safer. And we are starting out with North Bailey, so parking at the golf course, working our way up and down into that ditch as much as we dare, up between the bypass and at the top of Humpton, where it's kind of a dumping ground. So that's coming up in a couple weeks. The information's all on the website, and a lot of people here have already signed up. So keep signing up. It's going to be fun. And I think Jane touched on all the other events that we have scheduled at the last meeting. So
First movie night.
yeah, the movie nights are going to be great. We've added a lot of fun things to them. So we're having a pizza party on the June movie night, the 21st, and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so it's going to be free pizza.
Wow.
And
An exhibit with the martial arts.
yeah, the martial arts folks are coming that are all in the township and doing some exhibitions.
That
so.
should be fun.
Yeah, it'll be great.
I'll meet some young ninjas.
Hey, you have a new vice chair, don't you?
We do have a new vice chair. Ann Duzen is going to be the new vice chair,
It'll be fantastic.
but that's going to be on your next board agenda.
All right.
Thank you, Abby. Cog.
COG. Ooh. Well, we did have the honor of hosting the COG group here at the township. Understand this was one of their favorite hangouts before COVID, so hopefully we can do it more often. And actually, we spend most of our meeting talking about the trash proposal, which is really in depth, and we're still collecting information. Don was here along with myself, and these people are really aggressively pursuing the idea of municipalities coming together and incorporating their own trash collection, actually owning trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really big. I think it's happening in Oxford. Am I correct?
I believe it was Oxford was one of the ones leading the charge with it. And there was, a lot of discussion, a lot of questions, some good answers, but a lot of questions. Yeah.
And also, in addition to that, just some discussion about the animal rescue shelter, that there still seem to be a lot of interest in that because of some of the discrepancies they feel that we're having with the SPCA and the overcharges in lieu of the responsibilities that they really take and what it's really costing townships millions of dollars. And they just want to find another way that we can create a hub that we can collaborate together to save money, because the services are different with the SPCA. They're very taxing to a lot of municipalities.
Oh, yeah.
So that was it for us until we meet at the end of the month.
Thank you, Jane. Municipal Authority. I was not able to attend the April meeting. I'm going to tell you why. But
Were you maybe in Hawaii?
We know.
Is there a cruise to Hawaii?
We know
or-
why, Hawaii.
all right, but the notes I received, CTMA at the April meeting adopted Resolution 2024-3, which amended the local limits, which are numerical discharge standards for the industrial and commercial uses of the sewer system through DARA, Downingtown Area Regional Authority, which I believe was approved last meeting from the Board of Commissioners.
We approved it tonight.
Yes.
That's how long this meeting is.
Yeah.
It feels like it was before. Okay.
This
The
is
ne-
the last meeting of the month tonight, right? This is May 30th?
All right. And as part of Town Meeting House Granger Lane Sewer Extension Project, survey work began on March 8th. The televising of the existing line on Granger Lane, which was completed on March 28th. Soft dig of the existing gas main crossing located on Town Meeting House Road was completed on April 25th. And the work on the 2024 grouting project is scheduled to begin on June 3rd. This project is televising grouting of approximately 4,200 linear feet of an 8-inch diameter gravity sewer in the Colonial Gardens neighborhood. And I do not see Tony here in the meeting. All right.
He's
Next,
working on a walking path. Isn't he working on a trail?
doing his trail.
Get him out of here.
All right, under Dara, we have future expansion. Dara said they received East County's Act 537 plan, and the only remaining Act 537 plans out of 5 municipalities is the Borough of Downingtown and Euclid Township. And the modernization project, Dara is in the process of obtaining proposals for the design, permitting, financing, and possible grant for the modernization project. That's our update for Dara.
Excellent.
Thank
Fire
you.
Board, we did hold our meeting this past Monday. Quick, the audit is in progress for the 2023 year end. And some of the new business was some removal of some of the SOP and SOG items, just pertaining mainly to the EMS services that are not needed, and verbiage pertaining to the full-time firefighters, since the township will be interviewing and hiring the candidates through our civil service board. And I believe this was discussed at your last meeting. Also, the additions to the SOGs, apparatus arrival assignments, as well as motor vehicle accident stabilization. That's all I had for the Fire Board. Historical Commission. Keep it short.
The Historical Commission met on April 17th with a quorum, 8 of our 10 members present, along with 2 guests. The June 29th Chesco America 250 picnic coming up. The focus was on how we can best support the Friends of Spackman Davis Farms efforts. This group, along with Parks and Rec and OCHS, are the ones who pulled off town tour last year and most definitely knows what needs to be done. Breakout groups took up different initiatives. They're well on their way. And we're inviting the Friends of Spackman Davis Farm to their next meeting to coordinate. Historical Commission had their first monthly schoolhouse tour for 2024 this past Sunday with Tom and Chris as tour guides. The weather kept visitors at bay, but a few of us were there to enjoy talking about history. Tours will continue the first Sunday of each month through October. If you've never been inside or heard the story, it's pretty cool. Our May meeting will be next Wednesday, the 15th at 7 p.m. You can join us right here or home for live on Zoom. We're a group of doers who have a ton of fun getting things done. We'd love to have a few more doers join our team.
Thank you, Mark.
Ooh, that was quick.
Lincoln Highway.
Lincoln Highway, we did meet this past month, last week, was it?
Was it? It
Yeah.
feels like it
Yeah.
was, yeah.
So we talked about Vision Zero, and the county is beginning a program called Complete Streets that talk about walking and biking and pedestrians and cars and bikers all in the same roadway. And they're encouraging municipalities to adopt Complete Streets planning. So we talked about doing that and bringing that to the board for the board to possibly entertain. And then once we do that, inviting the county commissioners to our Lincoln Highway meeting to talk about how we can fund those complete streets along Lincoln Highway. And it meshes pretty well with Vision Zero. It's just a different name and different planning way. And then we talked a little bit about uses along Lincoln Highway to bring up at our next zoning task force. And that's it.
Excellent.
Josh?
Can I ask a question, Josh? Are we
Yeah.
still looking into getting the electrical, devices put on the telephone poles?
That's Don
Don's job?
apply. He sent in the
Okay,
early
Don.
grant. And that's one small piece of the whole.
Yeah,
We need them.
yeah, we need them.
So we've been working with the contractor that installed, installed those. poles.
LED lights.
Be honest with you, it's been a frustrating experience.
Wow.
The conversation has dried up to a degree.
Wow.
That's not good.
We're going to need to explore what options we have at this point. I know one of my first tasks when I started here was make sure
Right,
the
Christmas.
holiday lights are
Holidays.
taken care of along Lincoln Highway, and I have not forgotten that.
We're running out of time.
So
No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Boy.
Pain is
Denzel
rough.
Washington.
It's fair.
I'm just playing with
I think the last communication with the individual, about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3. So we'll need to have a more formal conversation about what we need to do. Loop in potentially Kristen to see what her guidance would be in order to proceed. But I have not forgotten. It is still moving
Okay.
forward, and I do understand the holidays will be here before any of us
Christmas.
are prepared for it. So
Not to bring that up, but I think the light in front of the firehouse is out.
Oh, I know.
I'm gonna pay attention to the numbers on when I come home one of these nights.
And I appreciate that, but I get a report. I mean, I
Okay.
get a notification, and we notify him. He just doesn't talk to us.
Okay.
Oh.
Is there another contractor we can use to?
Well, the problem is we're still under warranty.
Right.
Oh,
So
great. You have
unless
to
we want
use-
to pay for it, I mean, all the repairs and all the chasing down faults right now are free.
Okay.
So,
It's been paid.
but that, that day's coming to an end too. So we're just at a struggle. He just doesn't, the vendor doesn't communicate to us at all anymore. He gives us almost no responses. The repair guy is fairly responsive. When we get a fault via an email, we send that to them and they go out and fix it, but they never tell us why. They don't tell us nothing.
Would a letter from Kristen help with that?
Sounds like a job for Kristen Camp.
Yeah.
I believe the next step in our conversation would involve
Okay.
looping Kristen informally,
Okay.
and seeing what guidance she can provide in order to ensure that these issues are resolved successfully.
Yeah, I mean they're there for a purpose. So, and then speaking of that, not to belabor this, I'm sorry, but like Rite Aid, they shut all theirs off when they close. I believe some of those require them to be on, don't they?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've noticed that too. The problem is I don't even know where to begin to look. Like for older ones, as an example, Rite Aid, was there an order that said they had to? I haven't ignored it. I'm just not sure where to look right at the moment.
And I know the Wawa CVS down here.
Yep.
There's one light that's on like either the very edge of the Wawa property or on the dentist property. That one never is turned on.
I wonder if it's just damaged as
yeah.
well.
So they should be on. Like the Rite Aid ones, like all of a sudden the corner goes dark and
Yeah,
you're
it is
walking
dark.
you're walking on the sidewalk there and there's no light. So
There's a sidewalk? Oh,
yeah, through the grass that's growing up through. I guess they've decided not to mow their lawn anymore.
Oh, that I know. That we obviously
Yeah.
are addressing, but the lights. I mean, that's a very good question. I mean, I'll have to try to put one of the secretaries on a search to find out. Like, is there an ordinance I can?
Or was
use?
there an order in the conditional use? I'm sure there was a conditional use for
I
that
would
property
think so. Exactly.
because it had a drive-through. So I'm sure it had a
Right,
conditional
oh, yeah,
use.
right.
I hate to belabor this, but we're talking about holiday lights here, and they're really crucial. And we talked about this, during the holiday season last year. It's not just on us to make sure we get our street lights with holiday decorations. We need to get our businesses to start getting on board with lighting up the town. You drive a little bit to the east to Paoli and Malvern and Berwyn and out that way, and man, every one of those businesses has something beautiful going. So maybe we can get a holiday light contest for businesses that they'll get a gift certificate to come to one of our really long meetings.
Oh, boy.
All right. Anything else for Lincoln Highway?
Nope.
All right. Ingleside Golf Course. Lorraine, what do we have?
Hi, Lorraine Tindera. Just to bring you up to date, March and April have been good months financially and also when counting the number of rounds. Course maintenance quality is improving, which attracts more golfers. The golf course is lending a golf cart for the Spackman Davis Farm picnic event to assist with ADA qualified participants. Please consider business advertising on the Ingleside golf carts. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lorraine. And I see we have zoning task force.
I didn't see
Who
that.
has been assigned to that?
Nobody.
Is that
Must
just
be
a quick
new.
update, Don?
I can certainly provide a quick update. We have been moving into our fourth meeting. Last month's meeting, I think, was very successful in narrowing down some of the questions we have. The consultant that's providing guidance, I believe, has been, very, very detailed about providing options, and hopefully, I know we allocated them 18 months, but I think we're making some significant headway, and may be able to shorten that if we continue at this pace.
We spent a lot of time on the I-1, I-2 districts at the last meeting.
Yes.
And whether to combine them or separate them still, as well as the rail corridor, and what would be allowed in there. That was the bulk of what we did last time.
Oh, okay. Thanks
Great
for that
group.
update. Yeah,
It's a really good meeting.
good. Sorry I missed it.
Oh, you were in Hawaii. Right?
Additional business, revised civil service rules. Who is taking on this discussion?
Commissioners, as you
Abel.
know, we've had a couple conversations about we had to modify the civil service rules to include the career firefighter program. I worked with the Civil Service Commission. Well, I worked with Kristen Camp's office, and I worked with the Civil Service Commission chairman to look at those changes and make sure they were comfortable with those changes. They were. They have a meeting scheduled, a public meeting scheduled on May 22nd, which I'll attend for the changes to go in front of them for approval. If they pass by resolution the changes, then it has to come to the board to ratify that. So what we're hoping is that the board will entertain the last meeting of the month to have this for ratification on their agenda. At the same time, the civil service rules allow for up to not to exceed 3 alternates. And at the suggestion of the Civil Service Commission, we were looking for 2 members to be alternates to have firefighter or emergency service background. I do have 2 candidates for that. So I'm hoping that the board would entertain potentially the last meeting of the month interviewing those 2 people as well. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll get them to fill out an application. I think we have an application for boards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll get them to fill them out, and then hopefully that'll be on your last agenda for the month. Maybe we can interview them, an hour ahead of time or something like that. because I think that'll be important to have some of that background. None of the members now have any emergency service background at all.
How many members do we have present? 3?
Three. We do tentatively have a test scheduled, at least on the books, to do firefighting written and physical agility in the 3rd week of July. Just kind of waiting for all this to make sure that goes through to do that advertisement. If everything gets approved by the commission and then the board at the last meeting of the month, the following Monday, then we'll put the advertisement out for the full timers.
Commissioners, any questions on the changes? Kind of covered your bases.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you.
Residents, any questions on this? Of course not. It's getting late. Any in Zoom? Okay. Sounds good. End of discussion. Any other additional business?
Nope.
Any public comment? Okay, unfortunately, I do have one thing to bring up. Sorry. I do apologize, but this is kind of important. Of course, I did miss last meeting. I'm not going to tell you why, but I do understand that Commissioner Young, it was his first time here running the meeting. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I also wanted to point out that the new book of Chester County, this is from Cato, and it's Chester County Associates of Township Officials. This is put out every year. If you're part of a commission, you can look your name up here. You can see that this tells all the commissions in all the townships of Chester County area. But the one specific page that I was pretty impressed with this year, I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at it, but it acknowledges Commissioner Josh Young for being on our Board of Commissions for 18 years active.
All right, wow. 18 years. But you're only 18 years old. You came here they put you as a baby?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Josh has made the big times here.
Yeah.
didn't even see that.
He's been here since a baby.
Yep. So that
That's
is
all right.
that is great. The dedication, the commitment Josh is showing to this
wow.
township, 18 consecutive years. This is, I guess, you're going into your 19th year.
Right.
So,
Wow.
but we all thank you.
Oh my
Thank you.
God, yes.
Just
Again,
make it
one more
serious.
time.
Right.
I know it's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It flew by.
Wow. You enjoy it, so
Yeah.
that's good.
All right, and I'll take a couple more vacations.
Okay.
All right. Any other public comment? None here in the township building. Any in Zoom?
Everybody with the baddies.
Entertain a motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Moved in second. All in
Second.
favor?
Go.
Aye.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.